waves looked like they were 15 feet tall, and they were relentless. All I saw was a sea of white, no hope. I was utterly alone. So there we were, our first full day in Costa Rica. We had finished ministry, we had a break, we were down at the beach. Beautiful sun, surf, sand. So I was over hanging out by Dan Bowman and Mark Whitcomb, and all of a sudden I said to them, "Hey you guys, can you still touch the ground?" And I couldn't reach the bottom anymore. So we had been pulled out in a rip current. This is not good. I thought of swimming sideways, but I knew that I was out of strength. Dan was ahead, and his best bet was going to be to go into shore. And Mark had already begun to be pummeled by the waves a few times. He couldn't reach me. He was powerless to help me. I'd watched the wave crash in front of me. I watched the white water rushing towards me. It was like a washing machine, just tossing about to and fro and upside down and sideways. I'd hit the ground, which way was up, which way was out. I had my nose plugged sideways. So I had these progressive conversations with myself underwater. Well, if you breathe now, you will inhale water and you will drown. I was so desperate for air, and I could feel the foam on my face. There's air in foam. I can feel the air in foam, and that's all I had available. So I breathed it in, a big breath of foam, and down again I went, underwater. Didn't know which way was up, trying to find the surface. I finally came back up, and I realized that never, not one time in the midst of all of this, never was I afraid. There was no fear. And I said, "Lord, if you want me to make it out of this, you're going to have to make a way." It was not a question. It was not a request. I had no desire attached to it. It was just a statement of truth. Because I knew that heaven was my alternate option, and I'm good with that. I cannot wait to be in heaven. I'm sorry to say I didn't think of anyone else or anything else on earth. I just had a full awareness that I had exhausted all of my resources. If he wanted me to make it out of this, he was going to have to make a way. And someone was there. I couldn't believe it. Some local guy right in my face. Then a second guy came with a floaty. They both grabbed me. They secured me. I don't know how they got me to shore. I don't know how they got me out. I learned that they were lifeguards. There's no lifeguards in Costa Rica. They're not funded by the state or the county or the city or the community. There's no lifeguards on these beaches, but there were lifeguards on this beach. They had been hired by the resort way down at the other end of the cove. They weren't supposed to be in our area. They couldn't see us from where they were. They just happened to be patrolling by at the time that we needed them, that I needed them. There isn't enough time to share all the many, many details of God's sovereignty, of his sovereign hand in this event. He taught me so much out of this. I know that he allowed it for his glory because it has changed me and it has changed my ministry. What I do know is that he is God and he is able. Do you ever feel tossed about by the turbulent waters of life? So powerful that you feel that there's no way out. No more time, no ground under you to get your footing, no strength to go on. Do you feel overpowered, like there's no oxygen for you to even breathe? No break in the continuous and the relentless waves of life that crash over you? And most importantly, no resources around you or within you to find your own way out? But for Jesus, but for God, he is able to rescue you. Call on him. Call on him today.